It is 1:23 a.m. and the co-host and the host of the Honor Gaming podcast is tired as fuck.
Well, I was gonna say, if anybody needs help with their love life, we are here in the R&R studio awaiting your call.
Hmm. Taking all your calls with all the tired enthusiasm that I can provide for you at the moment.
It's not just tired enthusiasm, it's quiet enthusiasm.
Quiet enthusiasm. Yeah. This is gonna be an interesting episode, but I will save that for after the intro. So
We'll,
without further
we'll just
ado,
pretend that you're recording the episode from inside one of Metal Gear Solid's lockers.
Metal Gear.
Yeah. Because if you're too loud, one of the guards will come out and find you, and then we'll have to end the episode early.
yeah, exactly. I don't want to do that. Don't want to do that at all. So yeah, let's go ahead and get this show on the road, shall we? Hello and welcome to episode 24 of the R&R Gaming Podcast. I'm your quiet host, Byron Reed, and alongside me is my co-host.
The extremely loud Ken Russie.
Now, let me explain to you why I'm being so quiet this evening. It is 1:25 a.m. and I'm tired as anything. And my brother is currently sleeping in the next room over from me because of my work schedule. I got off at midnight and had to record a podcast to stay consistent like we have been. So this is why we're doing
You
things the
make
way
it
we
sound
are
like
right
I
now.
twisted your arm to record a podcast.
What's up?
You made it sound like I'm twisting your arm or like record the
No.
podcast or else.
Well, if you twist my arm, it would probably break because I'm so skinny. But no. These next 2 weeks will probably be quiet casts, at least on my end, and I apologize for that, but there's nothing I can do about it. So we'll have to deal with it and work through it the best we possibly can because holiday time in retail sucks.
Mm-hmm. Yep, been there, done that.
Yeah, so without further ado, Ken, what you been playing?
Uh-oh, I knew I had to say something. I wasn't prepared. It's too late at night.
Caught you off guard, man.
Yeah. Well, actually, I did pick up Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 for Nintendo Switch.
Nice,
And in case
nice.
you're wondering, that is its official title, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 for Nintendo Switch. It's like
I'm not
it's on
surprised.
the spine art and everything. But no, it was one of those Black Friday deals. So I got it for $20, and I needed something on my Switch that I can play that doesn't require like super a lot of attention. Because I think I've mentioned this before, but I like to play on my Nintendo Switch while I have a show going, so I can kind of pay attention to the show, but keep active, like play a game.
Right.
And so if it's a super story-heavy game that has a lot of talking, that doesn't work out as well. But since this is like a fighting game, there's a lot more just like beating the shit out of whatever comes my way. And this time around, I decided to play as a Buu character. I guess a Majin Buu character, if you know what that is.
Very cool. Yes.
Yeah, they allow you to play as the pink blobs, and you can be a male or female. And I decided to be a female because why not?
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Yeah. And so right now, yeah, I haven't gotten a whole lot into it. Like I'm still doing their tutorial stuff. So there's a lot of tutorials in this game. It seems like it's supposed to be like an open world where like everybody's in the main hub, and then you can do story stuff or fight against people or whatever. Haven't come across anyone yet. Don't know if that's because it's for the Nintendo Switch and nobody's really playing it, or if I'm still in this tutorial phase, and so once I get out of the tutorial, it'll open up and I'll see people running around that are real people and aren't just the NPCs that I've been finding everywhere.
Very true. I've been wanting to play that game, but I think I'm gonna wait for Dragon Ball Z Fighters to come out. That looks fire.
Right. Well, this is compared to like Dragon Ball Z Fighters, that's like a pure 2D fighter, like the Budokai games.
Yeah,
Whereas
those are the ones that I'm
Xenoverse, it's more open world-ish, and like there's a big map, and you can have lots of baddies coming at you, and you like fly around everywhere instead of just being, on a horizontal plane where you're fighting. And I don't know if Fighter Z is that way, but it seems like I remember reading that somewhere. Anyways, I mean it's not a bad game. The voice acting is from the Funimation group, so all those
okay, nice.
guys,
That's cool.
yeah, all those guys have their original voices, is what you'd see in the animation. I gotta be honest though, I've been watching the Dragon Ball Z abridged on YouTube with the fan voices, and I'm a little
Oh, jeez.
disappointed because they don't have the fan voices like I'm used to. So I almost wish that was like an option. Like I understand it can't be what people get, but I almost wish that was like a DLC option, like a $10-20 pack that you could buy that would make all the voices be from the guys from Dragon Ball Z abridged. Like,
That would be kind of cool. I
yeah,
can't
that would
lie.
be super awesome. Uh, but yeah, it has pretty standard RPG fare too. Like there's level up, and you can increase your attack and damage and all sorts of stuff. Um, but yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. Like I said, I haven't played a whole lot too in depth, so that's kind of where I'm at. But
Sounds good to me.
yeah, man, what have you been playing?
I haven't really had a whole lot of time to play a lot of things this week, but I've been playing some Overwatch and some NCAA Football 14 on my Xbox 360. I
Nice.
started up a single player dynasty as a coach, the head coach of the UAB Blazers. And how I did this, I was like, well, I want to start another dynasty. So I closed my eyes, picked the one, and went through the one-star teams. Opened my eyes, landed on fucking UAB. So they have I'm using the current rosters thanks to Operation Sports. Um, I am so far 2-0 in the season. I played Idaho and Eastern Michigan, beat Eastern Michigan 24 or something, I forget what it was. And
Mm-hmm.
Idaho I beat 19-15, had to kick 4 field goals, and I scored a touchdown in the fourth quarter thanks to my quarterback, AJ Erdley.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been a lot of fun so far, though, for me. Um, they have the worst overall in the game, 67. So
Oh
it's
damn.
gonna be a challenge. It's gonna be a challenge, but I'm only planning on staying there for a few years, maybe till I win a conference championship or two, and then I'll hightail it to a bigger program. We'll see how that goes. But I've been doing that as well as the online dynasty that I'm in with some of our friends, not you. Uh, gotta get you back in there, man.
Yeah. Well,
But
it's funny because I swear that I had heard that EA was going to put NCAA on the backwards compatibility list, but then I think I was dreaming. Like I think I
you
had a
may have been
dream.
dreaming, as sad as that is.
Yeah, I think I had a dream that
You may have been
EA put
dreaming.
it on the backwards compatibility list, and I was able to play it on the Xbox One.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen, unfortunately. I
You
mean,
know,
I hope I'm wrong, but
you know what? I think that they're not going to put it on there unless or until the IMF or IGM, whatever the guys gaming that are trying to get an NCAA football game made.
oh yeah,
I
yeah, those
bet
guys, yeah.
that if they get the money and they start making their game, or they get the game made, the EA will make it backwards compatible and put it on the Xbox at that point.
Yeah, cause that's looking pretty interesting early on, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But we can save that for another time. But there's really been playing Overwatch and NCAA football right now.
Hmm.
Um, it's kind of it. At the
All right.
moment. I really want to apologize for my volume right now. I'm pretty sure I'm not as loud as I usually am, but again, I'm going to be apologizing a lot in these next 2 weeks. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the news. PUBG will run at 30 FPS on all Xbox Ones. In a new interview, Brandon Green, who is player unknown for those not in the know, haha, he
Mm-hmm.
says that the game will run at 30 FPS across all Xbox One platforms when it comes to the preview program in December.
Hmm.
And uh, I forgot I had to tweet and everything. I forgot that I totally forgot about that. There was a tweet that he posted basically saying that he wanted to clarify the statement that he made in an earlier interview about the frames and all that other stuff. I don't have it up at the moment. I had it and then I took it away. I meant to bring it back and never did. So apologize.
Right.
Um,
Well, you know
but
that.
he
Sorry.
no, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say that game comes out in less than a week.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited for that.
Mm-hmm.
But he notes that Bluehole is constantly improving the game before launch, and he has great faith to hit 60 FPS across all platforms at some point. So it'll be nice to see it in 60 FPS. But I mean, honestly, for me, I've been playing console games my whole life pretty much, and if there was a game at 60 FPS, I haven't seen it because I don't know what it looks like. So there's that. Most console games don't run at 60 FPS, so I'm not surprised. At
Well,
least
I
to
think
my
it
knowledge, they don't run at
depends.
60 FPS anyway.
Yeah, it depends on the game, but I mean, honestly, for me, I've never really. It's hard for me to notice the difference between 30 and 60 frames per second. So I'm probably not the best
Yeah,
judge, but I do think it
yeah.
depends
I
on the
don't.
video game.
Yeah, I don't remember if Destiny on PC went to 60 FPS because that game looks so smooth on PC from what I've seen of it over there. So if it runs at 60 FPS and if that's what it looks like, then okay, I can see a difference.
Right.
But
Um.
if not, then I couldn't tell you.
Yeah. Um.
I'm actually gonna try and get the tweet up, but you can go ahead if you have your news story.
Oh, I always have my news story ready.
Yeah, here you go. I have mine ready. Blame the tiredness.
Yeah. Um. Well, no, my news story that I was going to talk about is where is this coming from? Do do do. Superdata is reporting that microtransactions from free-to-play games is almost 3 times the revenue of paid game releases.
Jesus.
Um, so
Why am
to
I not surprised?
yeah, so uh, they have a chart, and I apologize if you're on YouTube and I'm not showing you the chart. It's late at night. I didn't have a lot of time, but
I sprung this on him.
yeah. But so far this year, PC and console full release games have equaled out to $8 billion, and the additional content like DLC and extra packs and VC and whatever has come out to $5 billion. On PC,
Wow.
free to play games have earned $22 billion this year.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So, it's definitely interesting that Battlefront 2 has come down with a lot of gripe about their loot boxes and how much people have to pay to get that. But when you consider free to play games are 3 times the amount of what people are paying on those. It's pretty
Yeah,
crazy.
just raking in the money.
Yeah. Now, I do want to bring up a caveat because this doesn't say how many free to play games that is. If that's like 200 free to play games, and you divide that, that doesn't quite come out to 1 billion per game.
Right.
But
Right. Exactly.
so you kind of have to caveat that, like is it one game that's earning a lot? Like, I guess a good example would be Team Fortress 2. Um, does that have more money than maybe like the Marvel Heroes Omega that got shut down? Like, how much did that make on it compared to like some of the others? Because it seems like if that game was making 22 billion, it would seem kind of ridiculous for them to put the axe. you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
So a little bit of a caveat, but very interesting story. And they even they say by 2022 that they expect the free to play to have about 25 billion a year. Of course, they expect PC and console games to make about 11 billion in 5 short years. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think that also brings up a quick discussion we can have about that whole thing.
Okay.
Do you think it's because that those games are free to play, whereas majority of their money comes from microtransactions, versus these games that are $60, 60, 80, whatever you're spending on these games, and you're paying the extra money, to help get the games for DLC and all the other business. Do you think
Right.
that is a big reason as to why we're seeing so much flack come to the AAA titles? And do you think that if these kinds of microtransactions were to go away from these AAA games, would we see a price hike? Because that was a discussion that I was listening in on in the Press Row podcast this week that they had.
Well, those are all really interesting
I know they're like
questions.
what if questions on their business.
Yeah. And it really is hard to say whether either if or what could happen. But I think that what I can say about this is that I did read a story, and this was probably 5 years ago that I read this story. But it was an interview with an app maker for iPhone, and they were saying that if they put out a game, and let's say they charged 99 cents for it, and they put out another game, and it was free to play, but then you could buy, it was like $5 to buy the game once you got in there and played it. They had like 3 times the amount of sales on the free to play game than they did the 99-cent game, even though it cost more to officially buy the free to play game. Essentially, it sold more because people didn't have to, if you will, take a risk on it, or
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
either that, or once you're like in the game, the brain says it's okay to pay in this game for whatever reason. So that's
Yeah,
why,
because you didn't pay any money for the game itself, really.
yeah, something. I
You're
don't know
paying
if
for whatever
it's,
else in the game.
yeah, I don't know if it's psychological, like, well, the game is free, so I'll just pay, whatever, or if
Yeah.
it's something that, like, oh, I need to get this for my game. I don't know what it is, but that's what they had found out, that they made more money making the game free and having people pay for the game in the app than they did having people just buy the app outright. And
Yeah, that
so,
is interesting.
yeah. So I mean, it's possible that that's a future we could look at as far as video games entertainment goes. Is that everything? I mean, look at Xbox. Like, I can't tell you how many games now have a quote unquote free trial that you can play the game, and then once you're done with it, it's like buy the game. And that makes me wonder if they're following that same principle, where it's somebody's more willing to pay for the game once they've played it, as opposed to somebody just buying the game outright, and then, uh, yeah, spending
Having
the
to
money.
pay more for, yeah,
Yeah.
whatever it is. Yeah, I don't remember the guy who said this in the episode. And I apologize for that, his name, but he basically
Let's
said that,
call him Bobby.
yeah, he said that, if these microtransactions and stuff were to go away from these $60 games that we have now, that prices would go up on these games because we know that they're getting more expensive to make. We know this. Um, but this is their way of buffering it out. And he wasn't using it as an excuse or justification for why they're doing what they're doing at all. But that was just his point.
Okay, so I kind
Is
of
that
I feel the need to stop you there, because Bobby is completely wrong.
hmm
Um, because
Yeah, that was his opinion. But
games are only being more expensive because people want pay raises for them. And you can look at the indie market for a clear indication of how much games cost and how long or how hard it takes to make them. I mean, even on Kickstarter, you can get an idea of how much it costs for games and how long it takes to make them. So, I don't really agree with that. That if they removed it, games would go up. Now, if they removed the stuff, triple A game publishers might go, well, we want more money, so we're going to charge more for this stuff. I could see that happening. Um, but I mean, a lot of stuff that is DLC you don't even need. Like 90% of the DLC that I've seen isn't relevant to enjoying the game. You know,
hmm
like you can enjoy the game just fine, and you don't need any DLC. Besides,
horse armor.
yeah. Well, I was gonna say besides EA and them going, oh, you bought this game used? Well, then you need to pay our $20 fee to play this game online with people.
Oh, the online pass. Oh, that was such a garbage.
Yeah.
The worst
But yeah. Sorry, no,
the worst
I
thing I've
think
ever seen in my life was an online pass.
yeah. No, I don't think that's the case. I don't think if they removed loot boxes and stuff like that, that it would make games more expensive. I think that's a bogus philosophy. It's bogus. It's
Yeah,
bogus and baloney. Bogus. I just invented the new word.
I like it. I like it. I like it. It's coined on the RK podcast. Don't trademark that. We've already done it.
Like, yeah,
The
you can get a
quiet
shirt
cast.
next
So
week.
yeah, my my second piece of news um is that there are new screenshots for Code Vein. Code Vein is the action RPG that Bandai Namco is working on. The reason I said it like that is because during our pre-show discussion, I butchered the name and said everything else but Bandai Namco. But now that I've got it, Bandai Namco. So yeah, they released new screenshots showcasing the Ivy Blood Veil, which is a swift attack that allows players to produce thorns that emerge from the ground and hit enemies from a distance. And these blood veils will allow you to regain ichor in the game, and it allows you to unlock special abilities that they're calling gifts. They have shown what we know of the other blood veils that are in the game right now.
Hmm.
There's Hounds, Ogre, and Stinger, but that's not all of them yet. And they said that you can switch between the veils for the right moment. So For instance, the Ivy one, you may use that if you want to, hit someone from far away. But let's say the Ogre one, allows you to deal more damage, aims closer, whatever. You'll use that one for whatever. Maybe this will create combos between these different fails. So yeah, I'm kind of excited to see all this stuff actually in action. So I haven't seen any gameplay videos for it yet. They showed a trailer for it at TGS, but that was it to my knowledge.
Now this is supposed to be the Japanese Dark Souls game, right?
I believe that's what this one is. Yes.
Okay.
If I remember correctly and the information that I found a while ago, then yes.
Okay. Because I just wanted to make sure. And I put in the card
Yeah.
file for the image for the YouTube video Byron's Japanese game.
It's the Weeb game, bro. No, it's not a Weeb game.
It's not a
It's not a
weeaboo?
Weeb game. It's not it's not Persona 5. Still need to play it.
I'm waiting for it. I ordered that too, but GameStop is making me sad.
I still need backlogs discussion that's
Backlogs for everyone. You get a backlog. You get a backlog. You get a backlog.
That's just we should definitely have before the year goes out. Backlogs.
Yeah.
At least that's for this year anyway. But yeah, that was kind of it for that news story. I'm
Right.
actually looking forward to Code Vein a lot. I'm gonna follow it as best I possibly can because I'm interested in it very much.
Right.
It's my list.
So yeah, it looks interesting. But moving along, because I know you're tired.
Yes.
So Capcom has announced that they will be hosting a live stream event on December 4th for the Mega Man 30th anniversary. For our YouTube viewers, they can see the image of the card. For our podcast viewers, though, I'll read it. They sent out this card to journalists that says, "Celebrate the Blue Bombers' big 30th with us. Watch live on December 4th. You won't want to miss it. What Mega Man 30th anniversary live stream? When? December 4th. It's going to be at 11 to 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that'll be, let's see, 12, that'll be 2 p.m. for the Eastern viewers. And they're going to have it on their twitch.tv/Capcom Unity page. And as a Mega Man fan, I am hoping, I am praying, I am sacrificing a chicken to the gods that this is them announcing a Mega Man game. A new one. Because
I'm doing the same, even though I'm not really a Mega Man fan, but it's more for those that want it.
yeah, because if this is a brand new compilation, or it's just more fucking memorabilia that they're announcing, I swear to God, I will go to Twitter and I will troll them so hard that they will think they're trying to cross a bridge.
I can't wait to see this.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Well, I'm just, okay, I grew up on Mega Man. Like, Mega Man is one of the first games I remember playing. And in fact, my mom has a picture of me, one of my brothers and sisters, and we're sitting in front of a TV with an old NES, and we're playing a game. And if you look at the TV, it's Mega Man. That's what we're playing, is Mega Man.
Huh, that's cool.
Yeah, so Mega Man is one of my all-time favorites. We haven't had a new game in 10 years. The last game that I remember was 2007, maybe even earlier than that, because it came out on the PlayStation 2. And this is a brand new game, not compilations, because they've given us the 2 anniversary collections. And I swear to God, I feel like this is just going to be Mega Man Anniversary Collection 3, and I'm just going to, throw something at my TV or, get very angry here because I want a brand new Mega Man game.
I'll be looking forward to the rant there, my friend.
I'm not, But I guess we'll find. I
Hopefully
guess
it's a
we'll
good
find
one.
out
Hopefully it's
on
a good one.
episode 25 what exactly this live stream was all about.
That's very true. Yeah, very very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm for those that want the new Mega Man game, I'm hoping you get it because it's been a while, and that other game we're not going to talk about was a letdown of sorts. So yeah,
Uh, well, I mean, it was pretty bad because it was Mighty Number 9.
yeah. It was
Yeah.
not good, not good. But anyway, my final news story for the week is another Destiny 2 story. I don't know why anyone is surprised at this point, and I apologize if you're not a Destiny person. Um, but for those that are, this is good. If you've been paying attention to things that have been going on in the Destiny community and all of that, if you listen to any of the podcasts or anything like that, things are going on. But if for some reason you're not paying attention or whatever it may be, or you want to hear things from another perspective, here's mine. So there was an article this week from Bungie called "The State of Destiny 2," and basically they went and they listed changes coming to Destiny 2 in the near future, as soon as December 5th and December 12th, and in the far future, so sometime into the new year. These changes are include a few things. I'm going to list a few of these things for you. So they include a new weapon tier called Masterworks, better rewards and replay value for activities such as nightfalls, prestige modes, strikes, loot sectors, and private matches in the Crucible. They're targeting early 2018 for that. They're talking about ranked PvP as well, which is interesting and great for me. Um, and they're also talking about how they're looking to keep the dialogue as open and frequent as possible, because they recognize that, hey, we haven't been as open with you guys as we should have been, and they realize this. So I'm hoping that all these things come true, and that they eventually get we hear more from them more often, because they had a period of time in Destiny 1 where it was like 6 months and we're just nothing, didn't know what was going on, didn't know anything. So hoping they can be, true to their word, and we get the open dialogue. So just going to give a brief breakdown of what the Masterwork weapon tier is. And you can see a picture on the screen here for YouTube listeners and
Hmm.
viewers. It shows a picture of the Ariel's gift, and it's got Masterworks and all that stuff. So, weapons here. Masterworks will feature stat trackers, random rerollable stat bonuses, unique item tooltips, and item details screens. And the one in particular for the Masterwork weapon of Ariel's gift says that it gives a plus 10 to reload speed, and the weapon generates orbs on multi kills and displays the number of enemies defeated by using it. So I'm kind of interested to see what exactly these things are. They say that Masterworks. Oh, I read that already. They will drop from any source of legendary weapons for characters above 250 power. The unwanted Masterworks can be dismantled into materials that can upgrade an existing legendary weapon into a Masterwork. The Raid and Trials of the Nine weapons will have a very high chance to be Masterworks, and they have future plans to extend Masterworks to other gear and expose your kill counts in more places. I'm hoping that it's not just things like kill counts, and I'm hoping that the one for Uriel's gift is just that for reload speed, or if the other mods there are different things. Maybe one's reload speed, maybe one's extra damage, maybe one's increase uh handling or recoil or something. So hoping they're different as far as that whole thing goes.
Right.
But yeah, there's a whole article. I'm not gonna read all the changes for you here. That would take too long, and I'm tired for that. But yeah, it's I'm hoping that all these things come to pass, because they need to give us more reasons, especially me being a hardcore Destiny player. They need to give more people like me, the people who made Destiny what it is, in my opinion, reasons to come back and reasons to play your game, because honestly, I haven't really been playing it a whole lot.
Right.
besides getting my Titan leveled, I haven't really been playing my other characters because there's not much incentive. There's a lot of issues that I have with the game, but we'll save that for another time. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. Put it that way, and I'll end it at that.
Right. And that could be where we end Destiny. I mean, no. I mean, that is too bad that you're not having as much fun as you did with Destiny as you are with Destiny 2. But we'll save that for another time.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Another time.
We'll do that. Definitely. Yes.
All right. But my last news story is that we are getting a Super Mario cereal that is coming out to the United States. It is expected to be showing up in stores somewhere around December 11th. And so this could obviously vary.
Right around the corner.
Yeah, this could obviously vary from store to store, or I should say city to city, state to state. But these kind of look like Lucky Charms to me with their mushroom shapes and their crunchy cereal bits. But the interesting part, here's the really interesting part. This cereal isn't just cereal that you eat. Okay? Because this cereal, this box is also an amiibo.
Oh.
Yes. So you can take this cereal box and you can amiibo it with Super Mario Odyssey. They have it that advertised on the front of the box. But you can use it with Super Mario Odyssey to get extra cool features or stuff in the game itself. Not sure what exactly it unlocks. But yes, this cereal will also double as an amiibo figure for those collecting.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing over here because when you said that last bit about the cool features, I pictured the cereal box in game, just running.
Like you have to run chase it and you stomp on it and cereal bits go everywhere.
No, you are the cereal box, bro. How, like...
And you have to run away from the milk. That'd be funny.
The box is like hopping along and jumping and doing everything Mario does, but like in cereal form. Oh my god.
That would be pretty great. I can't lie.
My chest is hurting from laughing. I can't. It's great. I love it. I love it. So
hey man,
yeah, I kind of hope that happens though.
Yeah, I want to pick some up because I want to try the cereal and I want to see like how exactly the amiibo is. If it's like a card in the box that's like glued to it, or if it's like in the actual cardboard, or how. Right. Well, because I know that they made those trading cards for the Animal Crossing that are amiibos. But
okay, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm really interested to see how this cereal box works. Like if it's a special part, you can just like cut out and then you have that little piece. You don't need to hang on to the actual box of cereal, like just a little part. And will this work in other games or future games? Like what special features is this? And it really, like, I think it's really cool. Like, I can't lie.
Oh, yeah, no, it's
I
really
think it's really cool.
I'll be honest though, I kind of hope here's a hot take for you. I kind of hope it's not a Lucky Charms style cereal because I don't like Lucky Charms. So
well,
we need some hot take music.
I already have the cereal, the box, and it's a something berry cereal with marshmallows.
Okay.
I think it's a mixed berry.
Cool.
I think it's a mixed berry. Cool. And so I can already tell you that they have little like star-shaped pieces that I guess are the mixed berry flavor, and then they got marshmallows. And some of them look like 1-ups or just regular mushrooms, and I think there's
Okay,
other
cool.
stars and stuff. But yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'll have to. I hope it comes to my state. And yeah, that'll be great.
Mm-hmm. Sounds
Just
delicious.
it reminds me. I need to go to Walmart and get Oreo O's because I haven't had those since they came back.
Yeah.
So
See, here's
and
the
I refuse to
thing.
give them money.
I
How?
thought it would have been super genius if they called it Super Mario's.
Fantastic. You got it right
That
there.
was my
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
It could still be a mixed berry flavor with marshmallows, but
Yeah. As long as it's not like Captain Crunch type stuff either. I don't want to
well, it's
destroy my
being made
palate.
by Kellogg's, and I have the
Okay.
feeling that it's gonna be as bad as like those. Have you seen those Superman and Batman cereals in the store?
I have not,
You need to go to the
honestly.
cereal aisle more.
Yeah, I do. I do.
um,
I eat cereal. I just don't eat like
no, they
Eagles Crunch.
Kellogg's has like this whole line of cereal, and they have like Superman, Batman. They even had a Frozen cereal. I think they had a Minion cereal. All this stuff, and I got to be honest. Like the only reason to buy it is because you love the box
Go.
itself. Because the
Yeah.
cereal inside is not very good quality cereal, and it's
Mm,
pretty
cause
blah.
this has become the cereal cast.
Yeah, that's what happens when we
The R
record
and
at
R.
2 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, the R and
It's
R cereal cast.
like man, I could really go for some cereal right now. Got me a case of the munchies.
Yeah, but was that all the? That's all the news, right,
That's
for
all the
this week?
news, my man.
All right, wrap it up. No, let's go home. No, no. So we have we have our main topic of the show, which is the pros and cons of licensed games, and just a discussion about licensed games in general.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually did not prepare a list in my haste to
Yep.
get my notes ready and go to bed. Did not do that, but on the fly is usually better anyway.
Yeah. I mean, if it makes you feel any better, I didn't prepare for this at all either. Um,
We
so,
probably shouldn't say this. We probably shouldn't say this on air. Lack of professional.
we'll edit it later.
Yeah, we can cut that out.
Yeah.
They did not cut it out.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. So my favorite licensed game is SpongeBob SquarePants.
No, but
My mouth is open;
you
it
are
doesn't move.
if you're watching the YouTube version of this, you are seeing right now, hopefully, a picture of SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom and South Park: The Stick of Truth side by side. I've never played the SpongeBob game, so I can't comment on that one. But the South Park: Stick of Truth game is fantastic. It's one of my favorite licensed games, but we'll save that for later on in the discussion. So, what are some of the things that you like about licensed games, my friend?
Um. Well, I think the biggest thing I like about licensed games, the pro for me is being able to play as is something that I've watched before or seen before, that I really enjoyed. And the first example, because this is on the cuff that comes to mind, is they made a Samurai Jack game back for the
They
PlayStation 2,
did.
GameCube.
That's right.
Yeah,
Never played it,
and I think the
unfortunately.
Xbox. I own it on the GameCube, so you're more than welcome to come by play it.
Yeah,
Uh,
when I get up to in your region.
don't say that. Pause.
Damn it! As soon as I said that, I was like, oh, I should have said that.
Yeah. Anyways, that's the first thing that comes to mind. And while that game, I would say like if I was giving it a grade, I would say it's like a B minus, maybe a B, because it's not a terrible game, but it's not the greatest game ever. But being able to play as Samurai Jack, and something that before was just a cartoon, and it kind of adds to the story. And honestly, it's probably not canon anymore because Adult Swim went and took it and did their own whole shebang or whatever they did um, with
Yes,
it.
I need to watch all of it.
Yeah. So, So I mean, that's got to be the biggest pro for me, is just something that allows me to play as my favorite characters that aren't video games. Because I got a lot of video game characters that I really enjoy. But being able to play as my characters from shows I like, you know, I'd really love to get a new Star Trek game that isn't based off of the J.J. Abrams universe. That isn't
Right,
a
right,
free to play MMO. you
right.
know, I'd love to see Telltale
Yeah,
Games. The guys that do the Batman, the new what is it, the Batman Telltale series,
yeah, the
The Walking
Batman or
Dead.
Walking Dead. Yeah,
Yeah, I
Tales from the
would.
Borderlands, all that stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, I would love to see them take Star Trek, like the old Star Trek, and make a game where my choices matter. You know.
that would be cool. I would play it. I would
Hmm.
play it on a new engine.
Yeah. So, I don't know what would be a pro for you.
You have roboted on me. You did for that last
Oh,
little bit, but I caught
sorry.
it.
You got what I said.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah,
Okay.
I think that one of well, my pro would be the same as yours actually, because as you were talking about that, the first thing that came to mind was Spider-Man for me. Um, I
Right.
love I love swinging around New York as Spider-Man. That's one of my favorite things to do in a video game ever. And also because Spider-Man is my favorite superhero for multiple reasons. But you know, it's so fun. One of the funnest moments I had was Spider-Man 2. Just swinging around the city at that point in time when the graphics were looking really good. Swinging around that New York as Spider-Man with all the improved with the web swing and how it actually stuck to buildings and things of that nature. It's so much fun doing that and doing things like that as these characters that we see in movies and comic books and all the other stuff.
Right.
It's really really
Regular
fun
books.
for me. Yeah, yeah, regular books. Yeah. So the Harry Potter is another one that comes to mind for me. Whether it's playing Quidditch in the Quidditch World Cup game, which I'll get to later, um, or running around Hogwarts trying to sneak past the prefix in the older Harry Potter games. That kind of stuff is always fun for me too. So seeing those worlds come to life in another visual media that you can actually interact with
Mm-hmm.
is is just amazing in my opinion. So
Right.
that's a
Because I
big
mean
pro
that
for me.
that does bring up the discussion of games being more interactive art, and that you're not just watching a game, you're experiencing a
Yeah,
game.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's not like the other forms of media where it's passive. Like it's a very
Yep.
active form of media. You are engaging in it by controlling controlling the character or whoever it may be in the game.
Right. So yeah. So that is pretty good. I'm thinking though, I'm gonna throw a monkey wrench at you again. What's a con of licensed games?
A con for me,
Yeah.
eh, I mean, back in the day, you could say this was a con. I would still say it is now to some degree. It's the amount of time that the studios have to develop the games because the games come out rushed and they're not that good, or they're not true to the source material or whatever it may be. Things just go wrong with it. It's broken at launch. Voice acting is bad. It's not a complete full best you could possibly do experience.
Mm-hmm.
When movies, games would come out alongside movies, oh, we have to get this out for the movie, or whatever, and it's just not good. So that's my biggest con, is that the time needed to develop these things, but more so for movie tie-ins.
Right. they
Like even the
it's
old
like
Spider-Man games, while they were good, for the movie's sake, they had to do for the movie. So
right.
probably wasn't as good as it could have been.
Right.
But yeah.
Right. You take a game that takes 3 years to make, and you give them a year and a half to make it, and odds are it's going to be buggy and bad
Hmm.
and not very playable.
Yeah,
And
yeah, exactly. And,
mhm.
and and like I said, that's more so for, a few years ago than now.
Right. Well, we don't really. Excuse me. Late at night, people, give me a break. um, but we don't really see too many games that coincide with a movie release. Like, am I wrong?
Yeah, we don't see it too much anymore. No, we definitely don't. I was just gonna say that, because with the amount of superhero movies that are coming out now, it seems like there's a new one every week. um, you know, there's not a Justice League game or a Wonder Woman game. Though I would play it, a Wonder Woman game, I would play the fuck out of that. Hopefully, it's good. Um,
Well, hold on.
I'd play that.
Would you not
There's a
consider
few other
Injustice
ones.
2 a Justice League game?
I see your point. Okay, I see your
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, but you could do other things with the Justice League. You could definitely do things with them. But I see your point. That's, you know, I was talking about the superhero movies and how there's a new one every month, and how like we're not seeing a lot of the licensed game based off of movies now, which is
Right.
good. Though you could do it if you really wanted to.
That's true. Uh, but it does seem like while we're not seeing specific licensed, like Street Fighter, the movie, the game,
Yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah.
we are seeing though like Lego Marvel 2 just came out, and I'm sure it has stuff with like Thor, Ragnarok, and other stuff related to some of the other um, movies that just came out.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does.
Yeah, so
There hasn't been a Thor video game, has there? Like just one with Thor. You know what I
there
mean?
actually was. When the first Thor movie came out, they made a Thor video game.
Huh. Don't remember
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yeah. I think it came out on the PlayStation 3, and I think there was a DS version and maybe a Wii version, but I think that was it.
Oh, news to me.
Yeah. I'll send you the image when we're done.
Sounds good.
um,
Sounds good. But what's your con
well, the
for
only
licensed
con
games?
I can think of is the Star Trek. Oh, wait.
Go home.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry. Um,
Go to bed.
right. Well, I mean, I think I'd have to like piggyback off of um, what you said, in that they get decreased time to develop these, but also I think it kills creativity. Like when you're taking a game, and I've seen this happen before. Nintendo even explicitly says where they take a game and an idea, and like this is what we're making, and then they go, that game won't sell because there's nothing in it. Let's throw this character in there, and let's throw that licensed character in there, and that'll make it 10 times much more of a seller. And so I think it's kind of sad because I do like and I enjoy unique games, and in fact, I try to support those games and show that I want more creative games and games that aren't just licensed and based off of licensed material by buying games that are unique or have a unique story.
Yeah, 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 exactly. Yeah, because there's so much room for creativity.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, Like you could do a Justice League fighter game where you have all the Justice League characters and villains and all that stuff fight, just it's a fighting game, just over that. Or you could take that same concept and do, you know, you could do like a strategy game or something, something like
Hmm.
that. Just throwing it out there. So that
Yeah.
kind of, I think that's what you're talking about. I think.
Yep. Yep. That is
Okay.
exactly what I'm talking about. Is that like you can take, let's say, XCOM 2. So you can take that, make a game like that, with aliens and stuff, or what if they go, okay, XCOM, that's not popular enough. Let's take this idea, but let's make it a Men in Black game. And then you got this license, and and your main characters are all from the Men in Black, and they're not, uh, it's not original. You're
They're
not
not.
getting, yeah. If you get
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think that's what it does. It kills creativity, and one of my favorite game companies, Way Forward, they pretty much make their money on licensed video games. Like their only game that I'm aware of that is an original game that sold really well was Shantae, um, with the genie that dances and morphs into different animals and stuff.
Oh, oh, I think. Yeah. 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 Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they make that game, but pretty much everything else. When you look at their library of games that they've made, it's a license. They've made Barbie games. They actually made Contra for Konami, the last great Contra game for the DS, Contra 4.
Huh.
They made that game, and they've done like so many different licenses, uh, games that it's kind of crazy. Like that's how they make their money, but. The games that I really enjoy from them are the games that aren't licensed, which isn't maybe the best company to bring up for that because I also really like their licensed games as well. Like I've actually played their Barbie game that they made, and I was like, "Wow, this is pretty fun for a Barbie game." so, um, so probably a
So I'm
bad
looking for a new
example.
host for the Underdog Gamer podcast.
People are gonna be like, maybe they shouldn't record late at night anymore. We're learning some weird facts about these guys. um,
Oh man, this is a great episode.
but
I love it.
I mean, that is, uh, which was gonna be my next thing, the pro, and that is that it allows game companies that are maybe, I don't know if I want to say underfunded, but aren't quite fully fledged out or top. They're not BioWare for God's sakes. It allows them to create games and get a name for themselves, and hopefully allows them to make money and uh, end up becoming a great video game studio that's sucked up by EA and brought into their EA fold.
Yeah, and then they get cut. They get demolished. But it is what it is.
Yeah, but that's my
What I
whole point is that it allows them to develop these games that are licensed so that they can go on to make better games.
yeah,
And so the
exactly.
licensed games can kind of
Yeah,
be
it's a,
that.
it's a
Yeah.
good way to yeah, it's a good way to get your feet wet, so to speak.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. I agree there. I think another pro, and I believe I already actually stated it in my last one, was the fact that we get to go into these worlds with these characters, and we get to engage with them in a way that we don't normally through, like I said, books or movies.
Right.
So I think that is a plus, and and just like I said, experiencing these characters and getting to interact with them on another level, is great in my opinion. So that's a plus for me. You did just send me the image for
Yeah.
the Thor game,
Yup.
God of Thunder. Yep, PS3, rated a 3 out of 3.6 out of 5. So okay.
Uh-huh.
All right, you can get it for $7,
Yep.
pre-owned from GameStop. So very
Ye-
cool. Good stuff. Good stuff. Do
mhm.
you have anything else for this?
Um,
Oh
on,
yeah, favorite licensed game if you or like game or games, unless you had something else to add.
oh, well, honestly, because again, we're off the cuff, we didn't really prepare. I can't really think of
Yeah.
anything that wouldn't take copious amounts of time. So we'll
Right.
just say, yeah, I'm done. Um,
Okay.
but man, like, do you already have a favorite licensed game, or did you already say it?
I have a few I could think of offhand. Yeah.
Because I think I'm gonna need you to talk about that while I think about my favorite licensed game.
Okay, sure. Well, one of mine I actually mentioned earlier in our discussion about it was, believe it or not, actually the Harry Potter Quidditch game for
The
PS2.
the Quidditch game.
Yes, the Quidditch World Cup game that they had. You started out like the first little bit of it was you playing as Harry, at Gryffindor,
Mm-hmm.
and you got to control, Harry and all the other players on Quidditch. And if you're not familiar with how Quidditch works, there's three hoops in the there's three hoops. You throw the ball through the hoops, you get points. The game only ends once the seeker is caught. The seeker, the golden snitch. Sorry. Once the golden snitch is caught, the game's actually over. So there's the three phases to the game in the actual game on consoles. You'd play as offense and defense for the team, and then you would control the person going to catch the golden snitch, who I believe they called the seeker. If I remember that right, they called that person the seeker.
Right.
So anyway, um, after you complete the Hogwarts part of it, you would get to go on to play in the Quidditch World Cup with the teams, with the teams from all around the world in, in the world of Harry Potter at that point in time. So there was an American team, there was a team, I think the Belgian team had Victor Crumb on it. I don't. My memory is probably mistaken at this point in time, but the point is you had different teams, and there were the different commentary teams as well for Hogwarts versus the World Cup itself.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much fun. If I could go back and play it now, I would. I'd probably still be a fucking monster at that game. It was just I was so good at that game. It was so much fun, man. That
Well,
that game, so many memories.
yeah, I actually own that
Man,
on the
I'm gonna get a
GameCube.
PS2 just so I can. I need that. Yo, when I make it up there, go playing, I'm gonna kick your ass.
Oh, I bet you will.
We're
I'll
playing.
be
I'm gonna
like,
beat
I'll
your
be
ass,
like,
boy.
yeah, I'll be like, how do I? Why isn't my vacuum working? I don't get it.
I love that game so much, man. Talking about it now is giving me some fond memories. Oh man, it's great. It's great. But
That's cool.
another one that's more recent that I love is South Park: The Stick of Truth.
All right.
Um, that game is fantastic. I am a South Park fan, but I haven't been watching it as of late. But I am I was familiar with the jokes and everything that were in the Six Truths game.
Mm-hmm.
They nailed it. They did such a good job of making you actually feel like you were playing through an episode of the show. And there's some great stuff in there. One of my favorite bits was when you went to Canada. Everything became like 8-bit and blocky, and the music and everything, the whole world completely changes. So spoiler alert for you there, my friend. But when
Yeah.
when you get there, you will appreciate it, I hope, and you will laugh your head off the first time you get to Canada, and you get to see how they change the world space versus South Park. Going to
Right.
it's fantastic.
Yeah. That's
Did I
pretty
buy you
great.
enough time?
You did because I
Okay.
decided I was gonna say my favorite licensed game is Batman Arkham Asylum, and
That's really good.
mhm.
That's still my
And
favorite,
while I
honestly.
could have said Arkham City or even Arkham Knight, which are both really good, Arkham Asylum though it started everything. Like it started a
Yeah.
whole new genre of I guess deflect or what do they call it? Defend grapplers where you're waiting for them to attack so that you can beat them up and counter their moves.
Yeah. Yeah, like every
Um,
game from that point was just, oh hey, we're gonna do Arkham's Combat,
right?
but not as
yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah, pretty much. And even with City and Night, it's like, how can we make this game better, bigger? All right,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, they improve on the free flow once you get to Night is insane.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I didn't enjoy Arkham Knight a whole lot for various reasons, the free flow combat is insane. It's
Yeah,
so much fun putting together these combos of like 120, 200 some hits on people. It's insane.
right.
It's insane. And I absolutely love it.
Yeah, and I enjoy. Um, I mean, I enjoy Batman games. Period. Like I even have the old Batman Begins game, and I actually bought.
The one on the Super Nintendo
No, this is the one
with
on the
fucking.
GameCube, the one that
Oh,
is
okay. I thought
based
you were
around the
playing
Christian
with.
Bale movie. That's another licensed
Oh,
game, by
okay.
the
That
way,
was like it.
that's actually based on a movie. But it's not really that great, so that's why it's not on the list.
What a surprise!
Yeah, I mean, again, it's not a terrible game, and it was actually published by EA, but it's not a great game either. But no, even worse, I actually have a game called Batman. I think it's Dark Tomorrow.
Dark Tomorrow.
Yes, Batman Dark Tomorrow.
Was that a PlayStation game?
You could
A
get it on the
PS2 game?
PlayStation, but I bought it
I feel like I
on the
played that,
GameCube.
bro. I feel like I played that.
You may have, because this is arguably one of the worst games of all time. Um, because the game, like you play as Batman, but like the camera in it is kind of like Resident Evil style camera. So like
Oh
you have
yeah.
a set camera and you're running around, and then you'll like run towards the camera or whatever, and then the camera will shift uh, to a new perspective or
Yeah.
whatever. And again, I actually enjoyed it and I beat it back in the day, but I think a lot of people probably don't like it and would arguably say it's one of the worst licensed games of all time. But again,
Yes, I fucking did play this game, bro. Sorry,
yeah,
I pulled it up on YouTube real quick, and I'm like, oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I remember this game.
So yeah, so
Anyways,
I do love me some Batman, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Um, but I think Arkham Asylum started. It melded really great gameplay with a really great story, and
yeah, the
it.
Arkham storyline is
Mhm.
fantastic.
And I would argue that it elevated the licensed game to a point where they had to be good if they wanted to, I guess, take part of the spotlight from Arkham
Yeah,
Asylum because it was
yeah,
so good.
exactly, and be taken more seriously, you know.
Hmm. Exactly. In fact, completely unrelated to licensed games, but I do wonder what Rocksteady is working on.
Yeah, so do I. I really do.
Yeah, I
I
wish
really do.
they'd.
I'm interested.
I wish they'd
Say something
announce.
about it, please.
Yeah, announce something already. Watch, it's the new Mega Man game. They're making the new Mega Man game.
Or take your time and we'll talk about it when you're ready. That's cool.
Right.
So I think we've gone on enough about that. But
Yep.
for our community segment this week, we would like to know what is your favorite licensed game or games. If you have more than one, it's quite all right. We'll take a list.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's so. We'll leave that question of the week for you guys, and we'd like to get some responses from you. So get back to us, and we'll read your answers next week on the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it. It's 2:30 a.m. I think it's time we call it. Yeah.
We're gonna party all night long, all
No,
night,
we're not. We're done.
all
We're
night.
out of here. That's the quietest one I've done since I started doing this. Thank you so much for listening to episode 24, the Quiet Cast of the R&R Gaming Podcast.
The Quiet
Before
Cast.
we,
That's what
yeah,
I'm gonna call
that's
the
the title.
episode. The Quiet Cast.
Before we get out of here, Ken, tell them where to find us for the podcast.
Yeah. So you can
And
find
you.
us on Twitter. Myself at MacroboV. That's MacRobov. You can find the podcast on Twitter at R&R Gaming Pod. That's RANDR Gaming POD. Joystick is also on Twitter at JOYSTIKENT. And you can find my good friend Byron on Twitter at
Ron1417. That's capital B RON 1417. You can also find me on Twitch streaming whenever I feel like it these days at B underscore Ron 1417. That's B underscore Ron 1417. I picked up Life is Strange before the storm. I picked it up for Black Friday sales, so when I get some time, I do plan on streaming a full playthrough of that game. So look forward to that. I'll post when I go live for that and all that business. And we are also on YouTube. You can find us on YouTube at R&R Gaming Podcast. You can type that in the search bar, find that there. We're also on Castbox. You can find us there under the same name, R&R Gaming Podcast. You can correct me on anything that I may have gotten wrong or flubbed up because of my tiredness, Ken.
no, I mean, it sounded pretty good. It's just on castbox.fm. You can find it on the App Store or on the Android Play Store.
Thank you. I left that up.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, other than that, it sounded pretty good, my man.
So once again, thank you guys so much for listening to this episode. It was a special quiet one. I hope you all enjoyed this episode, and I'm hoping that I only have to do one more of these before the holidays end at work. If you did enjoy this, consider liking the YouTube page, liking the video, giving the YouTube page a subscribe, and hit that bell down there to get notified. And subscribe on Castbox. We're working on getting a few other ways to get this out to you guys as well. iTunes we're going to start working on it. So we have a lot of things coming for you guys soon. Hopefully we can get these things going and get it moving, get it bigger and better process for everyone involved. So Ken, they should come back next week for another quiet episode.
Because everyone could use a little more sleep. No, wait, that's not right. Because everyone could use a little more R&R. And you're probably like, all right, my man,